What parts of a man's life are many women unaware of? If a man has difficulty urinating not short term, go see a urologist quick. My friend waited years, went to a doctor who said it was his prostate. Nothing helped. Then he went to a neurologist who quickly told him his urethra tube was almost completely blocked as his prostate had grown into it. He had surgery 2 weeks ago and can pee like a horse now. The bore out surgery typically takes 1.5 hours. His took 4. Don't ignore this stuff. When you take your dick out to piss, sometimes the way it's angled, when it comes out the pants will cause it to overshoot or spray over the side. There's also having to angle yourself right when you're erect to pee into the toilet bowl, because peeing with an erection isn't easy. Yeah, all the women like, can't you aim? No, we are literally shooting from the hip, and due to any number of reasons a stream may come out in a random direction or directions. That said, there's no excuse to leave a mess. Men, clean up after yourselves. That sometimes you need to adjust your underpants to make your little friend feel more comfortable. Cock adjustments in public. There are many moves for many situations. Always be prepared. If a man isn't in a relationship, they practically get zero physical contact with anybody. Edit. Since I'm getting so many comments about it, my responses to the thread, covering an average man. This isn't my scenario. I don't need a hug. Thanks though. How many men, single adult men in particular, struggle against increasing feelings of worthlessness as we get older? Men don't see a lot of overt affection or appreciation in their day-to-day lives. It makes you feel invisible and interchangeable. I bet most women have no idea how big a deal it can be for a guy when they initiate a conversation or even make eye contact and smile. That tiny little bit of validation goes a long way in fighting off those feelings of worthlessness. We also like to be told we look nice, smell good and did a good job. That sometimes the ding dong gets hard for no reason and you have to pretend nothing is going on. That you can't enjoy children, especially if they aren't yours. I love kids. I have 2 daughters who are under 5, and I just genuinely love children. I love their innocence, trusting nature, general curiosity of the world around them, etc. I really enjoy taking the kids to the park, amusement, water, or just neighborhood, and playing with them and other kids. I enjoy smiling and waving at children when I'm out and about at the store or in public, or making silly faces to see if they'll laugh. Sometimes parents and caretakers are okay with me. They see I have kids. They're okay with me playing on the playground with their kids to tag, hide, and seek, whatever. But most of the time, I get the scowls, the dirty looks, the hurrying away. I understand, because how do they know him, not just some predator? But I truly enjoy children, and it's disheartening to be viewed as nothing other than dangerous. How easy it is to fall for your female friend and ruin the friendship and never speak again. Some of men actually want to give being a stay-at-home dad a try, but are typically actively discouraged and mocked for it. If I ever get a wife and she makes enough money to sustain the household and she is okay with it, I'd be happy to try to keep the house clean and have dinner waiting for her when she gets back, just to see what it's like if nothing else. Edit. My poor inbox. I did the stay-at-home dad thing for several months. I was really good at it too. The kids ate right. I went to school functions, not just emotionally obligatory ones either. I kept the house clean, hosted sleepovers, kept up with appointments, paid bills, all that stuff. I loved it. When I went back to work, I was a little sad that I couldn't just go ahead and finish raising my kids the way I wanted. It's also left me with a mild annoyance at sitcoms and movies that push you the inept dad can't handle a single afternoon with the kids. Thank God mom's back, because no one has bathed or eaten since she left. Oh, and the house is somehow in disrepair, even though we clearly live in a nice neighborhood with HOA standards to meet trope. I mean, sometimes it's funny, but it's a little done. The bored boner. When you're tired or bored, out of nowhere there's a rush of blood to your penis that results in an erection. This of course happens in the worst possible situations. During a lecture or class, on a flight, at work when you're dozing and trying to stay awake, etc. Oh, and there's no sexual thoughts at all, which is the worst. There is a time/age in a man's life when a man's happiness becomes more important than his sexual desires. A man literally wakes up from the fog of testosterone and in many instances feels has taken directions in his life or has allowed himself to be controlled due to his sex drive. His sex drive is still strong, he is just able to think clearly while his sex drive exists. A lot of my friends are in this place and a lot of them have gotten divorced during this period of life. Many of them have left relationships feeling they were manipulated and or controlled and went on to a new partner they viewed as kinder. No one talks about it, but it's definitely been a weird period in most men's life that I know. And I'm not saying all women control men with sex, or saying anything derogatory about women, just referencing a time period in men's life and some of the outcome I've seen from men. From birth to death, a man must constantly earn and reaffirm his value through a lifelong performance gauntlet. Doing anything less will quickly remind you how disposable you are. That bit where you finish peeing, shake it out for 20 minutes straight, dab with tissue paper, and still piss a little in your underwear right after you put it away. Every freaking time. One time, I sat in my favorite chair, house to myself, and stared at the wall for an hour. When the girlfriend got home, she couldn't understand when I said that I was doing nothing. No, I wasn't watching TV. Nope, didn't check my phone. No, I haven't eaten yet. I did nothing for a whole hour, and it was everything I hoped it would be. Wanting to befriend women, but often don't know whether they will think you're trying to get with them, and sometimes you're friends with someone. Yeah, I'd be happy to be more with that person. I'm doing so you could ruin the friendship, and any friendship you have in common. I don't think women are very good at identifying male confidence, even though it's the thing they're most attracted to. Here's what they're unaware of: loads of men fake it. Why? Because they know it will get them laid. Acting confident in spite of your true feelings is something that is hammered into men from a very early age. After all, if you're not confident, you're not a viable sexual candidate. That's what women tell us all our lives. But here's the thing, most men aren't confident. Hell, most people aren't confident. The vast majority of people are insecure to a greater or lesser extent. But men need to be confident, or society strips them of their value. So, they fake it. And I think other men are pretty good at recognizing this. In my experience, amongst guys, it's very easy to tell who is actually self-assured and who is faking. The main indicator being how loud they are about it. Boisterous, constantly flexing, and bigging themselves up whenever they have the chance. Probably faking/compensating in order to get in your pants. Real male confidence is more quiet than that. It's acknowledging your flaws and insecurities and accepting them with comfort. It's being self-assured and not having to prove it. Not as obvious, but much more genuine. The only reason I think many women aren't aware of this is the amount of success that fake confident guys seem to have in dating. So either women are more attracted to the illusion of confidence than confidence itself, or they can't tell the difference. Though of course, these are all generalizations, and there are plenty of exceptions to everything I've said here. I think the average woman gets bombarded with so much male attention, even if most of it is unwanted, that they subconsciously think that it's the same way for most men. Unless you're in the top 10% of attractiveness, it's incredibly rare to get any attention from the opposite sex that you didn't initiate. Like I can count on one hand the number of times it's happened in the past year. It doesn't mean you aren't attractive or desirable, but it can begin to feel that way. You can get a lot of attention if you initiate it, but you have to be in the right state of mind to do that. And I think a lot of dudes have insecurities about that, and girls just don't get it. When we're staring off into space, we are either thinking of nothing, or if we were working in medieval times, would we rule justly, loose our minds to the power, fall to decadence, or conquer our neighbors? This goes for many men, but in particular big strong men. We have to often really restrain ourselves. If we betray ourselves by showing outwardly our emotions, people assume we are going to attack them, or are a danger. I get even mildly annoyed people think I'm livid. I have had police call on me, and a buddy of mine accused they thought a fight or some gang shoot was going to happen cause we were angry, but not overtly so. We are, however, 6 plus FEET tall, 120 kilos heavy or 250-ish pounds. The need to appear to have masculine qualities on the outside, even though some men are more sensitive on the inside, so that they don't face prejudice from society. The need to be left alone sometimes. There are some days where I need to be by myself, undisturbed and on my own. I need my space to recharge from life, and I can share that with whoever you are, be it a female friend or a girlfriend. Me wanting to spend a day on my own from time to time doesn't mean I don't like you or appreciate your company. I just need me time in order to function like a normal human being, especially under stress. While male friends understand this necessity, girls most of the time seem to have trouble accepting that I don't have any problem with them, and if I ask to be alone for a day or two, I just need that, not support, not being asked 20 times a day if anything is wrong, just time for myself. Right around 28 to 30, especially if you're active in sports, you have a single day where you realize that your recovery time has greatly increased. It's not like going to the YMCA twice a week to play ball for 3 hours has no consequences anymore. Soreness is there, and it's a beach. I don't understand what actually happens to a guy's crotch when they hit puberty. Do balls really drop, and is it something that just happens gradually, or you wake up and be like, yep, they're dropped now, I'm a man? I don't get it. We are disposable by society. From the early days in life you will be told to man up or suck it up. That is a big blow to your mental health. You can't even get help because you will be afraid to be called a beach even by your homies. Like, I want to talk about how I feel without getting shamed for that. It's rough being a guy, and I started to even hate it. Sometimes the mental health is low enough where one might consider to just ending it, but I have to live through it somehow. Just because we have the ability to aim up us doesn't mean we are automatically experts on how to do it properly. Sometimes it comes out damn near sideways. Sometimes it's a pressure washer, and sometimes it's less intense. Don't even get me started on the dual stream. Point is that missing the toilet isn't entirely our fault, and takes us by surprise too. It has to be the yearly trips to Transylvania to meet with the other vampires, hands down. Man problems, am I right? As a single guy, you won't normally get much or any physical contact. That's why I hug every friend when I say goodbye, because not only do I need it, they need it too. And a good 10 to 20 second hug can bring a grown-ass man to tears. Trust me, I know. Urinal etiquette. Unspoken albeit ubiquitous and fiercely defended rules. Urinal etiquette. Unspoken albeit ubiquitous and fiercely defended rules. Rule 1. If no urinals are in use, the farthest from the door is the only acceptable one. Rule 2. If a urinal is in use, you must the one furthest from that one. Rule 3. If multiple urinals are in use, you must use one further from any currently in use urinal, preferably leaving one empty to either side of you. Rule 4. If it is not possible to acquire a urinal with no persons to either side, you must use a stall. Rule 5. If Rule 4 applies, and all stalls are currently full, you may then use the urinal directly next to another user. However, it is preferable to wait. Rule 6. There is no speaking while using a urinal. Ever. Rule 7. See Rule 6. Rule 8. You will look directly forward or downward for aiming purposes. Looking side to side may result in violence. Looking directly at another man's equipment will definitely result in a verbal confrontation and may also result in violence. Our thoughts are stupid and random. When you ask what are we thinking, it's usually something stupid, so we say nothing, because it's a lot simpler than trying to explain it. Normal thoughts for a guy. I should mow the lawn. I'll do it tomorrow. How fast do jets fly? That chick I saw at the store was hot. What the hell is a tomato anyway? I like dogs. Is there a game on today? If I was in the Matrix, I would totally do a flip with this wall woman. What are you thinking about, guy? Nothing. You know, all those trust issues and hang-ups women can develop because of bad relationships and awkward or unwanted sexual experiences. Men can have those too, only we're not supposed to talk about them or even acknowledge them. An old girlfriend of mine ate my virginity out of me, and my friends and I were high-fiving over it the next morning. Because it was expected it'd be excited. Shit's fricked, yo. Also, I don't really like being told I can't do something.
N.
When a pair of pants or underwear are not cooperating, our entire world is in shambles. If we're in a space where it would be rude to adjust ourselves, 150% of our available brain power is focused on how uncomfortable it is. We hate being the ones to make the first move. Not only hate, but we're also very insecure about that. When it comes to dating, a lot of men are just as insecure as women, which is why we might take a while to ask someone out, even if both of us are aware that our feelings are mutual. Sorry for going in specifics, but that's the case 80% of the time. I worked at a summer camp as a lead counselor. I'm a tall, strong dude with a beard. I suppose I could look somewhat threatening. And I was the only male employee, which is odd for the place. Just happened to be who was hired that summer, so many parents went to the director and always asked about me in a negative way. "Who's that guy? What do you know about him? Can I see his background report?" I would never even think about hurting a child in any way. If anything, you should be happy I'm began strong and can be more help when it comes to protecting them from something, or, goodness forbid, someone else. Why are some guys always suspected of things based of their sex? It's bullshit. 30% of the time we are immature individuals, and the remaining 70% of the time we are trying hard to suppress our inner child and act as mature individuals. Complaining to our homies about normal stuff. We have to be stoic and unbothered around women, but I've said, man, frick this wind at least a million times to my friends. We enjoy hugging, kissing, holding hands, and we don't care how girls looks. I like your hair before I like it now. Just make it look how you like it. We don't care. When we're getting ready to go out with a girl, we mentally prepare that we may just run into a jealous, drunk, miserable bastard that's going to put us in a fight or flight situation, and we may have to get into an extremely violent and dangerous situation.